Hello guys, this is Dr. Possibility from Excel Academy. Kindly make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure that you register with Excel Academy. In today's class, I'm just going to explain few concepts in the branch of biology and medical science, which is known as immunology. So let's quickly look at the definition of immunology. But before I look at that, I have a picture with me here in which I've illustrated a fallen substance in our body. And this fallen substance or this fallen particle can be a virus, it can be a bacterium, it can be any microbe which the body can detect to be foreign. So in this case, you can see these cells which are surrounding this pathogen or microbe. So in most cases, you find that the body get exposed to so many microbes, and these microbes can cause so many diseases such as coronavirus. Okay, so COVID-19 is one of the disease which is caused by a foreign particle which is called a coronavirus. We can also talk of bacterial diseases such as cholera, which is caused by a bacteria called Corellia. All those are just few examples of diseases and the pathogen which cause them. So in most cases, you find that sometimes someone may be infected with some diseases, and all of a sudden you find that they get healed, and in that case you find that that has happened because of the help of these cells which are trying to fight against this virus. So if we were to define immunology from this concept, what are we trying to talk about? So immunology is just a branch of medicine that covers the study of the immune system in human being. So immunology is just trying to explain the immune system of a human being. You need to understand that the fighting of diseases does not just start with the white blood cells. No, it is something which is so complex, and it's something that involves so many things that plays a role in the fight against foreign bacteria. So when you talk of the immune system is made up of the white blood cells. The immune system is composed of the lymphatic system. All these, they play a role in the fight against bacteria. So what else can we define this branch of medicine? So you find that when you talk of immunology, it's just to tries to explain the enhanced states of the condition, or what happens when the body is trying to respond to foreign substances. So this branch of biology is just trying to explain, how the body behaves when it is induced to other substances, and these substances can be bacterium, these substances can be a virus, and these substances can be any foreign substance that can expose the body to some infections. So with that being said, we can all be interested in knowing the type of immunity. So we have said that immunology tries to explain the way the body functions when it is exposed to foreign substances. In short, immunology is trying to explain the immune system. So here we have a picture here which is trying to explain some complex movements that are involved in the immune system. And at this point, I'm sure some of you are so worried and trying to know how complex this process is. But don't worry, I have a simple way in which I can explain to you these types of immune system. So basically there are two types of immunity. The first type of immunity is known as the acquired immune system, and the second one is known as the innate immune system. So both of these this type of immunity, they play a major role in fighting against diseases. So at this point, I'm not going to go much in detail to explain what the acquired immune system is. Instead, I'm going to explain it in my next class. So please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and you click on the notification button so that you won't be able to miss out the classes. So this, I'm going to explain it in my next class, but this is where I'm now going to focus most. So what is this guy called innate immune system is? So what is the innate immune system? So you need to understand that a human being is born with a certain type of immunity. And this type of immunity is called the innate immune system. So the innate immune system is the type of immune system which a human being is born with. This type of immunity, it is found in babies, in something that you are born with. It's not something that you develop because of being exposed to some certain environment activity. No, this type of immune system, you are born with it. You are born with it. And then this type of immune system, you need to understand that it is natural because you are born with it. It is not made. It is not something that the body develops after being exposed to certain bacteria. No, this type of immune system is you are born with it. Okay, so this simply means that since you are born with this, since it is also natural, this means that it forms the first line of defense. So for example, I can talk about your skin. Your skin is an example of a component of the innate immune system. So when I talk of the skin, you're going to discover that the skin, it is something that you are born with it. You did not develop the skin, of course. It's something that you were simply born with. So let me quickly look at some key points. So as I said, it is also called the natural immunity. Why is it called the natural immunity? It is because you are born with it. It is something that you don't develop. It is something that is in you. So the innate immune system is also known as the natural immunity. So you can either use innate immunity or you can use the word natural immunity. So this innate immune system, it is made up of two components. You can talk of the physical barrier. You can also talk of the cellular part. So most of the time, we people only understand the cellular components of the immune system, but we need to understand that there is also the physical barrier. So this physical barrier is where the skin is falling. And then when you talk of the cellular component, this is where now you can talk of the neutrophils. This is where you can talk of the eosinophils, and many other cells which we are going to discuss. So we are saying the innate immune system is also known as the natural immunity. Why is it called the natural immunity? It's because you are born with it. For example, you can talk of the physical component of the innate immune system, which is the skin. So everyone is born with the skin. No one is not born with the skin. So like I said, this innate immune system, it is the type of innate immune system which you are born with. It is the type of immune system which you are born with. Okay. Then since you are born with this, for example, if you look at the skin is not specific. It is being exposed to so many pathogens, it's being exposed to so many germs, and this skin, it is playing a role in preventing these foreign materials from entering your bloodstreams. It is preventing these foreign materials from affecting other organs. So if you look at the skin on its own, this skin is playing a role which is non-specific. In short, this type of immunity, it doesn't choose. When you talk of non-specific, it means that it doesn't what? Doesn't choose. It doesn't choose. It fights anything. It fights anything. So like I said, it is composed of the physical barriers and the cellular component. So when you talk of the physical barriers, we can talk about the skin, you can talk about the mucous membrane. So when you talk of the mucous membrane, it forms the lining of so many components of your body. Automatically, I can give a good example in the respiratory trunk. Okay, so when you talk of the respiratory trunk, which I'm going to write as RT. So the respiratory trunk, I can quickly look at the nostril. So you find that the nostril itself, it has the mucous membrane, and this mucous membrane is able to produce what? The mucus. That's why when you are exposed to a lot of dust, you find that you are going to have some mucus, you are going to have some flu. All that is because of this first defense, this natural immunity, which has helped you to engulf and trap those bacteria which were contained in the dust. So all that is forming the physical barrier. So the skin is just forming the physical barrier, and these physical barriers, they are just part of the innate immune system. Then we have the mucous membrane here. It is found in the respiratory tract, it is found in the GIT, and many other parts which we are going to discuss. By the way, the GIT just stands for the gastrointestinal tract. We are talking about the digestive system from the stomach, esophagus, the mouth, the small intestine, large intestine, rectum, up to the anus. That's what we can talk about when you talk of the GIT. Yeah. So the cellular component of the innate system, you can talk about the macrophages and also the monocytes. So when you talk of macrophages are the mature form of monocytes. Macrophages are the mature form of monocyte, and these are just cells that plays in the role of engulfing bacteria. Same applies with the neutrophils. They are playing a role in the fighting against foreign substances. When you talk of eosinophils, many are the times you find that Many other times you find that some of you cannot eat some certain type of food. For example, if someone was to eat something like carpenter, okay, if someone was able to eat carpenter, or let me give an example of pork. So some people do not eat pork, and when they eat pork, they are going to have issues like rash, and this rash is going to produce some itching. Some they will have they will be swollen, others they will develop some redness. So when you talk of that allerginess has been exposed because of the eosinophils. So the eosinophils, they are going to check up, they are going to see that, oh, there is a fallen substance which the body doesn't want, which the cells doesn't want, and these eosinophils, they will be able to expose that, and they are going to show an alertness through the rash and through other forms. By the way, it's not only the eosinophils which play a role in this, but all this is going to be explained later on in this course. So with this being said, like we have talked of the skin, we have talked of someone maybe eats pork, and when they eat pork, you find that they'll be able, their skin will react. So in that case, you find that the innate system, it just forms the first line of defense. The innate system forms the first line of defense. So before anything happens, this innate system has to try hard and fight any foreign substance. So that's what it means by the eosinophil forming the first line of defense. So let me quickly give a picture. Let me quickly give a picture of something that you can try to understand. So if you look at my picture, I'm having the yellow, the orange part, and the blue part. So the orange part is just standing for the white blood cell, any white blood cell. It can be the eosinophil, it can be the basophil, it can be the neutrophil. So this white blood cell has identified this foreign bacteria, which can be any bacteria, okay? I'm not specific in this case. It can be a bacteria, it can be a virus, it can be any pathogens that can cause harm to the cell, to the body. So this white blood cells has identified this guy, and in this case it's just trying to fight this bacteria. It can be by engulfing it, or it can be by any other ways. All right, so from here you can say, like I have said, a white blood cell is trying to fight a foreign body. This foreign body can be a bacterium, like I have said, it can be a virus, it can be any microbe which is a little bit hazardous or a little bit unwanted by the body. So with this being said, it's very important for us to understand the component of the immune system. We need to look at the component of the immune system. So when you talk of the component, we are just trying to ask ourselves is the question is, what is it made of? Okay, what is the innate system made up of? Okay, what is the innate immune system made up of? We have said that the innate immune system is something that is natural. It is something that you are born with. It is something that forms the first line of defense. Now, since we have said that, and I've literally explained some few points, so we need to understand what is the innate immunity made up of. So the innate immune system is made up of the barriers. These are physical barriers, and when you talk of the physical barriers, we can talk about the skin, you can talk about the mucus, you can talk about the chemicals, you can talk about the hair, you can talk about the cilia. So, like I have said, we can talk about the mucus, like I've explained this using the concept of the nostrils. Okay, in the nostrils, you can find the mucus. You can talk about the chemicals, you can talk of the hydrochloric acid, which is in the stomach. So, the hydrochloric acid in the stomach, it plays a major role, okay, in fighting against any foreign material in a case you have eaten or taken something that is having some bacterium. So the hydrochloric acid in the stomach, it will kill that bacteria, okay, it will kill that bacteria because this is an acid, okay. So these chemicals, you can talk of the eyes. The eyes, there are some chemicals there which plays a major role in fighting against the bacteria. The bacteria, like you have noticed, when an insect enters your eyes, you are going to discover that that insect will come out dead, and you have to ask yourself, how did that insect die in the eyes? So you find that it's because of some chemicals which are found there. When you talk of the hair, this hair, you can talk of the hair in the nostrils, which is trying to trap the dust as much as it can. So you can also look at the cilia. These guys, they are part of the epithelial cells in the respiratory tract, and they are actually playing a role in fighting against any foreign bacteria. The skin, I'm sure I've already explained on how the skin helps to prevent any foreign bacteria in the human body. So, like I said, the innate immune system is made up of the cellular component. So, the cellular components, they play a role in so many ways, and one of the roles in which these guys play is the process of fungal cytosis. So the question is, what is fungal cytosis? So like I said in the previous slide, I mentioned that the cells such as the macrophage, the cells such as the neutrophils, these guys are able to recognize, and when they recognize the bacteria or a virus, they are able to either engulf it or to get rid of it. Okay, so Fungocytosis just consists of two components, which is one, recognition, whereby the cell recognizes the foreign substance, and after recognizing it, it's going to ingest it. Okay, it's more like it eats that same bacteria. The way you get your food and eat, that's the same way these cells do. So during this process, these cells, they are able to identify the bacteria or any foreign particle, and they are going to engulf it. Now, what kind of particle are being engulfed by this bacteria or by these cells? So, any particle which is larger than 0.5 micrometers, it has to be engulfed for so long it's able to penetrate through the plasma membrane. So if any bacteria crosses the plasma membrane and that bacteria is above 0.5, automatically the cells in it, they have to do what? They have to engulf it, because there is no way of taking it back. So the only way they can fight it is by engulfing that very bacteria, and this normally takes place by the help of derived vesicles called the fungosomes. So these fungosomes, they play a role in the process of phagocytosis. Now, the cellular component has caused the process of phagocytosis. This same cellular component is capable of causing the other component, which is called the inflammatory reaction. Like in the previous one, I talked of someone eats pork, and then when they eat pork, they are going to either be swollen or maybe they are going to have rash. So sullenness, you can talk of the skin being red, sullenness, redness, even itching. Those are just some of the characteristics which are shown due to the process of the inflammatory reaction. So this inflammatory reaction can either be acute, and it can also be chronic, but I'm not going to go much in detail. I'm going to explain this when I'll be teaching the course called pathology. That's when I'm going to be a little bit in detail. So what is inflammation? So inflammation occurs when tissues are injured by bacteria, trauma, toxin, heat, or any other cause. So cells can be injured. Okay, so these cells, when a cell is injured, this cell can either undergo a reversible, the injury can be reversible or non-reversible. So when you talk of the cell injury, like I have said, the cell injury can either be reversible or non-reversible. So in some cases whereby a cell is injured, it's going to, when the cell is injured, it's going to undergo the stage of adaptation. It's going to undergo the process of the stage of adaptation. So during adaptation, this cell can undergo metaplasia, it can undergo hypoplasia, it can undergo hypertrophy, it can also undergo atrophy. So those are just some of the ways in which the cell can adapt to the cell injury. So in some cases, for the cell, after the adaptation has taken place, maybe things are not okay, the cell can also undergo the inflammatory reaction. So in the inflammatory reaction, this is where now the body is injured, and this reaction can either be acute or chronic. But all that it's going to be explained, in the course, which is the course called pathology. In that course, I'm going to explain the cell injury, cell adaptation, and also the inflammatory reaction. Now, what are the cells? What are the cells which are found in this innate system? So one of the cells which are found in the innate system is the natural killer cells and the mast cells. So these cells I'm going to go much in detail in the next lecture. The other component can be the soluble factors, which forms the humoral factors. And then the other one can be the complements such as interferons, TNF, and other cytokines. So all that I'm going to explain it in the next slides. So we have simply talked about the innate system, the components of the innate system. Now we need to understand what are the properties of the innate system. Automatically, I've already explained. Here I'm talking about it forming the first line of defense, and this one, it's make sure that it fights any foreign material before they cause more damage. Okay, before they cause any more damage, this innate system, it plays a role in fighting and engulfing. So I've already explained this concept whereby I've said it makes the first line of defense. Before a bacteria enters your body, the skin will form the barrier. Before a bacteria causes any harm in the stomach, it will surely be exposed to the hydrochloric acid, which is forming the first line of defense. Before any bacteria affects the respiratory tract, it's going to be exposed to the mucus, which is also forming the first line of what? Defense. So that's all about it. And one, it works independently prior to what? Exposure. So what does this mean? It works independently prior to exposure. So you find that the body already have the monocytes. Okay, the body already have the monocyte. The body already have the skin. The hydrochloric acid is already what? There. So this simply means that even before a bacteria, before a virus, before any fungi enters your body, the body already have these things, which are the skin, the hydrochloric acid, the monocyte, the neutrophils, the eosinophils. All those are there. This means that this guy doesn't need to wait for a bacteria to enter it for it to work. Then it lacks memory response and benefits. So if you look at this is the reason why we say it is non-specific. It is non-specific. For it, all it knows is I just have to defend. I just have to defend. So please make sure that for more classes you register with Excel Academy. It's easy, guys. It's easy. All you need is just to contact me on 0965 887474. As easy as that. You WhatsApp me, you send me a message on WhatsApp, and I'm going to respond to you in the quickest possible time. So let's quickly enjoy our class without talking about registering. So let's quickly continue with the properties of the innate system. So the other property, which is provide protection against a wide range of what? Of pathogens. This is all talking about it being non-specific. Because it is non-specific, it simply means that it provides defense against a wide range, a wide variety of pathogens. So this point also takes me to something which is very important. Since it fights against various pathogens, this simply means that it's able to distinguish self from non-self. It's able to distinguish self and non-self. So please make sure that you take note of that. So where is this found? This type of immunity system is found in all multicellular organisms. So this means that dogs, they have, cats, they have, humans, they have, all people, they have this type of immune system. Unlike the adaptive immune system, this adaptive immune system is only found in vertebrates. Adaptive immune system is only found in vertebrates. But when you talk of innate immune system, it is found in both vertebrate and invertebrate, for so long they are multicellular organisms. So the other thing is that it uses ancient gene encoded receptors and the effector. So in short, it just depends on the gene encoded, and this gene encoded can be receptors and effectors. Now, quite all right, we have talked about the innate system forming the first line of defense, the innate system being found in multicellular organisms, the innate system being non-specific, the innate system being found in all multicellular organisms. But the question that we need to ask ourselves is that, does this immune system have some defect? Are there any defects? Yes, they are. But these defects, they are rare. And in a case there is a defect, those defects are mostly lethal. That means that it is rare for you to survive. In short, you can't survive when you don't have the innate immune system. That child born without the innate immune system, they cannot survive. You cannot survive. For example, if a child is born without the nostril, without the mucus in it, automatically that child will not be able to survive when it comes to any airborne disease. Actually, even the lining of the lungs, it has some mucus and the surfactants. All that, they are playing a major role for that child to survive. So if a person has a defect in the innate immune system, which is rare, that person will rarely survive. So, ladies and gentlemen, in my next class, I'm going to go much in details on the components of the innate immune system. I've already explained that the innate immune system is made up of two components, the cellular part and the physical barrier part. So in my next slide, in my next class, I'm going to explain about physical barriers. I'm going to go in details, and I'm also going to go in details on the issue of the cellular components, where I'll discuss the individual cells. So ladies and gentlemen, this was Dr. Possibility from Excel Academy, and please make sure that you register with Excel Academy. We have some good offers for you, such that when someone register with us for 3 consecutive months, you are likely to win an iPhone 7, and that is something which is as a reward and an appreciation for your support. Thank you very much. This was Dr. Possibility. Have a blessed day.